This is Sarah with the Holy Mess and Faithful Finish Lines, and I have a special treat for you today. I am here with my good friend, Gabrielle, and she is a Faithful Finish Lines member. She has been a reader of the Holy Mess, and just recently this year, she became my assistant. So if you email me, sarah@theholymess.com, you might hear back from Gabrielle. In fact, after this video, if you want to ask her questions, you could do exactly that. You could email me, sarah@theholymess.com, and she might respond. So one of the things that we decided to do when she became my assistant, because I have so many readers who use the Weight Watchers program, is I asked her, would you be game to try out Weight Watchers again? She had done it years and years ago, and let us know what you think of the Personal Points program. And she's so brave. She was willing to do that with me, which I thought was awesome. She really gives us a great perspective on what it's like to start Weight Watchers. Those of you who have followed my story know that I've lost over 100 pounds. I've been maintaining it for many years, and I've used Weight Watchers. I love Weight Watchers. I have used other systems, but Weight Watchers just works really well for me. So that's what I come back to again and again. But I've been so deeply immersed in the Weight Watchers culture, if you want to call it that, for so many years that I really don't have the perspective of what it's like to start from the beginning, or even, do you even want to use Weight Watchers? Is Weight Watchers the right system for you? So Gabrielle gives us that really good insight into getting started with Weight Watchers and what it's like to be a newbie, and what's exciting and what's overwhelming and what's hard and what's helpful. So let's get into this, and I'm going to ask her some questions about what it was like to get started with Weight Watchers. So as we get going, Gabrielle, just tell us a little bit about you and your overall weight loss. What's your weight loss story? As much as you can sum that up in a few minutes.
Wow. Okay. Hi, everybody. My weight loss, I've been on a weight loss journey probably most of my life, off and on. Really starting to, I always knew that I was overweight, but I started maybe around 18 trying different things to try to take the weight off. And I did sometimes, and then I gained it back and I gained more. And I think around 18, I did join Weight Watchers. It was around 18 years old, and I wasn't really super serious about it. So I didn't really, I went to the meetings and stuff, but I just wasn't really serious about the endeavor of it. So, and then I've tried other things throughout the years. I've, lost a lot of, large amounts of weight, in different ways, different programs. And by far, Faithful Finish Lines is the best. I have to say that. And
you have had incredible success. Tell them how much weight you've lost now.
So I've lost 78 pounds and
oh my gosh, Gabrielle, that is so amazing. I'm so proud of you. It's phenomenal.
I'm so grateful. And just the heart and the mind changes that have come with that. That is the piece, I believe, that has been missing all these years, regardless of what food plan you're on. There's lots of meal plans, but, and Weight Watchers is a great program. I have to say, it is a very good program. It's very well balanced. But it's that other piece, that was missing for me. And I think, I now know that I'm going to get to my goal at some point soon,
Yes, you are.
It's not going to be overnight. I don't expect it to be overnight. And I'm okay with that. See, that's a change, so.
Anyway. I love it. I have chills when I hear you. So for anybody who's watching, who maybe is coming to me for Weight Watchers and doesn't know about Faithful Finish Lines, Faithful Finish Lines is the Christian weight loss program I run together with my business partner, Becky. She has also lost over 100 pounds and is keeping it off. And together, she and I have created a program where we teach women how to lose weight from a biblical perspective. So it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And so that's what we do there. So yeah. So you started Weight Watchers at my request. So thank you. Right now, now the system is personal points. And the way that program works, you take a quiz and it's individualized to each person. You get your own list of 0-point foods. Tell us what that was like. What happened when you took the quiz?
So the quiz, I went into the app and I kind of searched around, and then, I found the quiz that you're supposed to take, and taking the quiz was fairly easy. It was kind of fun. You just follow the prompts along. So I felt like it was a fairly simple system to get into. And I took the quiz, and I like the fact too, that after I got my results, you can change it up a little bit if you want, depending on, what your answers are, what your preferences are. That's where personal points really comes in, is that it takes into account your preferences, which is really a good thing, I think. But yeah, it's very easy to maneuver around.
What kinds of 0-point foods did you have?
My 0-point foods, I have them right here.
All right.
Yeah, so there are beans, poultry, cottage cheese and yogurt, potatoes, and sweet potatoes, which I love.
Nice. So, and I will say too, just in the middle of this interview, I was going to say it at the end, but I'll say it now. I'm not paid by Weight Watchers. I don't work for Weight Watchers. I like Weight Watchers, but what's really great about that is I can say whatever I want. So, like I have a blog post that is 7 things I do not like about Weight Watchers. And we can go ahead and say now, I think you enjoyed this experience, but you're not planning to continue with Weight Watchers. So feel free to tell us like what you liked, what you didn't like. We'll maybe get into a little bit what you would recommend for somebody who's maybe considering Weight Watchers. So you got your 0-point foods, and I know you had shared with me, you're like, it's really hard to stay within my points every day. So Tell me a little bit about that, and let me ask too, you were using MyFitnessPal before this, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that, like the difference between MyFitnessPal points. Why was it hard for you to stay within your points?
Okay, so MyFitnessPal, well, it's a different counting system. I'm counting calories through MyFitnessPal, and historically for me, that has been the most successful approach for me. It's very straightforward. It's very honest. There's not a lot of figuring out, how to put things together, and I could just plan my food and count my calories, and it's very simple. Points, I consistently go over my points because, and I think it's just the way that the foods are configured through Weight Watchers, and it takes into account like maybe nutrient values, which I think there's a positive side to that. But it made me feel more restricted.
Interesting. Okay. Very interesting, because some people feel more restricted with calories.
Correct.
And they like the 0-point foods aspect because it's like, oh, I can eat as much of these as I want. But you actually felt the opposite.
Yes. And I was surprised at that myself.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because I remember feeling excited, like, oh, wow, I can eat these all the time. And I love these foods,
Right.
But other things that I wanted to eat had much higher point values. And I remember, I feel like sometimes discouraged from that.
So what foods just felt like almost like I can't fit those in my plan because they're so high in points?
Oh my goodness. It was, it's just like nuts. Geez, I'm trying to think.
Peanut butter is a big one for me.
Peanut butter.
7 points. I mean, that is a lot of points if you don't get that many points per day. How about for some people, it's like fast food, processed packaged foods, restaurant meals. I mean, it's not unusual for one restaurant meal to be 30, 40 points. So
yes. And my points are 41 points a day.
Okay.
So and that's what I was going to say is specifically processed foods, restaurant foods, fast foods, and like shocked at how high those points are. Whereas counting my calories, yes, the calories are there's more calorie density in some of those foods, but I can plan it better. And I can plan those things in my my food plan if I want to, as a treat food or something like that, easier. And I can do it without going over my calories.
Okay, interesting. Do you mind sharing what your calorie goal is on MyFitnessPal? I'm just curious.
Not at all. 1,800 calories a day.
Okay, so that's
just, which is healthy
compared to 41 points, and points don't directly, like, you can't say one. It used to be you could say like 1 point is 50 calories. You can't do that anymore because of the way they've made the system more complex. And it's exactly like what you talked about because of those 0 point foods, and they weigh different things like protein, fat, things like that. So knowing that you're probably going to go back to counting calories, have you learned anything from this that you might take into that? Like maybe you would incorporate more eggs or more yogurt or something like that was a 0 point food?
Yes, I think that it helps me to know, to keep a stronger focus on like whole foods, healthier foods, because nutrition is really, it's always a shocker when you look at things and you think it's one way and it's actually something completely different. Like, when you pick up a bag, and this is like one of the biggest things, you pick up a bag of chips and it says fat free. A lot of people are duped into thinking, oh, I can eat as much as I want of that.
That's so true.
So those kinds of things. So I think it's going to help me focus more on like, I really need to get more veggies in today because I don't have enough, and I love veggies, but, because I feel like I have more freedom with calories. Interesting. I know. I can have a 900 calorie piece of cake, or I could have a meat and a grain and a veggie that's 900 calories. So, so
that's where we get into fullness and satisfaction because of the calorie density of those foods. Definitely. Which I agree with you. I think is what Weight Watchers is aiming for with the 0 point foods and having the different varieties of foods. So tell us a little bit more about what it was like to get started. Like sometimes we have readers who email us and they just say, I'm just so overwhelmed. I just joined Weight Watchers. I don't even know, like, I can't figure out like even where to begin. What was helpful for you in starting to understand the system?
Oh, hands down, the Kickstarter meeting. Everybody is allowed to do that. And what I really liked about that is that you're allowed to do it as many times as you want. You just have to sign up for it. And they go through everything with a group of people. And
was this on Zoom?
This is on Zoom.
But it was on Zoom, right? Because I actually haven't done one of those because I was already in, when they switched to personal points. So that's helpful to know.
Yeah. So they have that. And they walk you through, I would say, the basics of how to start counting your calories. I believe the first week they just wanted us to focus on your 0 point foods. Get familiar with those because you're going to be using those a lot. And then they also have an app class as well that's secondary to the Kickstarter meeting, where they can teach you even more about how to use the app. Because I'm a digital member. So there's all kinds of different things within the app that you can do as well. And I like that if you have questions, there's 24/7, a 24/7 coach that you can connect with. And again, you can go to those meetings as many times as you need to learn. And so I would recommend anybody, I think you should go at least once. And if you have any questions, continue to go because they're not that long. They're like 30, 40 minutes and they're fun. They're WW coaches that lead the meetings. And I found them very helpful.
That's great to know. I have been to lots of online virtual Weight Watchers meetings that would be similar to a meeting, like if you went in person to a Weight Watchers meeting, but I haven't actually done the Kickstart. So I might have to go back and do the Kickstart one of these times just to see what it's like.
Yeah. And it gets you going. And so it takes away some of the overwhelm because it can feel overwhelming. Like especially if you've never been exposed to the culture, like you were talking about. Yeah, you
Yeah,
need to know how to
yeah,
do it.
it really is a culture and a whole different language, because you're
Yes.
thinking, if you've been thinking calories, or perhaps you're coming in and you did macros, or you've never done, these types of things, thinking in terms of points does definitely take some practice. It's a whole new way of thinking about food.
Yes, I agree with that. And maybe that's where I had some resistance, because my culture is calories.
Right.
And it was like I was going to have to learn this whole new culture and figuring it out. But I do see the benefit to someone who doesn't like to count calories, because it's a different way of doing it. And it's kind of like you're playing, I don't want to, it's not playing a game, but it's kind of like just a different way of doing it. And it's like, and it can be fun. That's what I'm trying to say.
I really do think of it like a game. I really do. Of like, how much food can I get for my points buck? Like, I want every point to count. So whether that's like vegetables that are 0, and so I can just totally load up on this stir fry, or it's like, okay, chocolate, what's going to be the best way that I can get the most chocolate for the least amount of points. So for me, it's been fun and interesting. And like, I like what I call food finds, where I can find a food where I get this much for only this many points. And I think you bring up a really good point too. Like, we do have some people who counting calories is almost, I don't want to say traumatic, but they've just had some really bad experiences. And so maybe using a different system can be a little more gentle way to manage their food if counting calories has been so difficult. So who do you think Weight Watchers would be good for? Like, who would you recommend the program for?
Wow.
And then not, who would not be such a good fit for it?
Well, I mean, I think anybody who wants to learn a new way of eating, and because, aside from the points, the program itself is very good. It's very nutritionally balanced. It encourages you to make healthy choices. The coaching is very good. I've been a member where we've had the coaching before, like on Zoom meetings, and it's very good. So you get a lot of encouragement. They work on a lot of the practical aspects of weight loss, and really encourage people that it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And just you feel engaged with them, which is really, and they're engaged with you. So anybody who's just wanting to start a healthy weight loss management program, I would recommend it to. Someone who feels restricted from counting calories, this would be a very good program to go with. Somebody who is very comfortable counting calories and has been doing it for years, I might not recommend Weight Watchers, because it is a whole nother culture, a whole nother language.
Right.
And that in its, for me, because I'm in the middle of my weight loss, feels like overwhelmed to me. Like I have to learn a whole nother way. And then the difference between calorie counts and point counts in foods, that was a little disheartening for me. So because I'm such a calorie counter,
right. Well, and I think you bring up a really good point of being in the middle of your weight loss journey. Like, I've tried a lot of different things, but it was more as I was gearing toward maintenance, and I was kind of like ready to shake things up. That's when I switched over to my Fitness Pal for a while. At the time, the Fitbit, it was the bigger body bug type thing then, but like I used that system for a while, but not when I was smack dab in the middle of the most intense part of it. That might not be the right time to try to make a shift.
That's a very good point. Yeah. So, but I think I would endorse Weight Watchers. I mean, I think it's a very good program, and but calorie counting is good too. It just depends on you, and it depends on like the aspect of it being kind of like a little game, a fun game to play. If you like doing that, that would be a really great reason to join Weight Watchers. So
Weight Watchers does also cost money, and my Fitness Pal is free. So there's that.
There you go. Yep.
And there's some great stuff about it, but it is an investment. And if people are trying to make a a decision. There's an app too. It's called Healthy now. It used to be called, oh shoot, what did it used to be called? It was called something else.
I track bites.
Oh yeah, thank you. That I do recommend to people. You can use it for free, or I think there's like a one-time yearly fee to get some of the upgrades. And it's kind of like a Weight Watchers knockoff. What some people really like about that is it has some programs that are like the previous Weight Watchers systems. So that can be good. Like if somebody was like, I really want to go back to Weight Watchers Purple, they have a program it's not the same, but similar to Weight Watchers Purple. So that can be an advantage too. So again, I love Weight Watchers. It's worked really well for me, but I'm in no way sold of saying like you have to use Weight Watchers. I think whatever you find that works for you, go for it. Anything else as we wrap up, Gabrielle, that you feel like would be helpful for people to know if they're considering one or the other, just from your experience?
Sure. Track and plan.
However you do it.
Yes. And choose a program, a meal program that really is healthy, because like you have taught us, don't do anything during your weight loss that you're not going to do for the rest of your life.
So true.
And it really is true. And that has given me more freedom. I feel like that point of, I can have a cupcake. I can plan that and have that and enjoy it. And it's not a big deal. It's just food,
Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful perspective. And I totally agree. I say that all the time. Like, don't do something now to lose weight unless you plan to do it forever, because nothing magical happens when we get to our goal weight. And if you're planning to eat cake again ever, then you need to figure out how to incorporate cake into your weight loss journey, because you'll need to know how to do it while you're maintaining. So I personally am not planning to give up cake ever. So I need to figure out how to eat that while I'm losing weight, and peanut butter and chips and all the good things. So
yes, absolutely. And just whatever program you choose, make sure it's a healthy one, something that's going to feed your body, well, along with those treats. But, and see, with counting calories, I feel like I have more choices to do that, but it's still my responsibility to make healthy choices to feed my body, not just my mouth.
So true. Oh, so true. Definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. This has been lots of fun. If anyone who's watching has questions for Gabrielle, you can email us, sarah@theholymess.com, or put them underneath this video. And it's been an interesting experience to see how, like Weight Watchers works really well for me. You tried it. You're going to go back to counting calories. I think that's great too, that we all can find the way to weight loss that works best for us. So, all right. Thank you for watching. I'm Sarah with The Holy Mess.